All right, guys, today we're going to learn some very helpful tricks called divisibility rules. A lot of times you can look at a number and know if you can divide it by some of these numbers, and believe me, it will be very helpful if you remember these divisibility rules. The rules that we have are for the numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. Let's check them out. All right, to see if a number is divisible by 2, all you need to look for is to see if the number is even. Every single number that ends in a 2, a 4, a 6, an 8, or a 0 is an even number. And I can prove this to you by showing you the multiples of 2. Our multiples of 2, if I were to write them in order, or to start writing them, would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and you could go on and on and on. And if you look, they all end in a 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. Those are all even numbers. You can divide those all by 2. So then you can look at really big numbers, maybe something like the number 13,546, and you don't really have to divide that by 2. All you have to do is look at this last number, and it's a 6, and you ask yourself, is 6 even? Yes, it is. So you can, in fact, divide this number evenly by 2. Or, for example, maybe you have the number 300. It ends in a 0. Anything that ends in a 0 is an even number, so this number is divisible by 2. A non-example, a number that is not divisible by 2, would be the number 261. It ends in the number 1. 1 is not even, so this number is not divisible by 2. That's your rule for 2. Your rule for 3. It's the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. Sum means the answer to an addition problem. I'm going to give you 3 examples. If you look at the number 33, you might be able to look at that and see that you can divide it by 3. 33 divided by 3 is 11, so it is divisible by 3. You can divide it evenly. However, if you used a trick, you can just add up these 2 digits. 3 plus 3 is equal to 6, and 6 is divisible by 3. Or you can do larger numbers. You could do the number 12,360, and the same rule applies. You could add up all of these digits. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 is 6, plus 6 is 12, plus 0 is 12. 12 is divisible by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Or, since you have 2 digits right here, you could do 1 plus 2 is 3, and the number 3 is divisible by 3. Let me show you a non-example. If you have the number 9,347, if you add up these digits, 9 plus 3 is 12, plus 4 is 16, plus 7 is 23. 23 is not divisible by 3, so 9,347 is not divisible by 3. Your rule for 4 is to simply look at the last 2 digits of the number. So if you have the number 536, all you do is look at your last 2 digits, and 36 is divisible by 4, because 36 divided by 4 is 9. If you look at the number 7,135, you would look at those last 2 digits, 35. 35 is not divisible by 4, so that number is not divisible by 4 either. One little trick is that anything that ends in double zeros represents the number 100, and 100 is divisible by 4. that is 25. So any 100 number, 100, 200, 300, 400, those are all divisible by 4. Numbers that are divisible by 5, I'm going to show you our first few multiples of 5. If I asked you to count by 5, you would say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, on and on and on. What do you notice about this pattern? Well, you notice that every single number that's divisible by 5 ends in a 5 or a 0. So that's all you look for to see if a number is divisible by 5, is to see if it ends in a 5 or a 0. So I'm going to give you 3 examples. For the number 7,930, you would check to see it ends in a 0, so you absolutely can divide that number by 5. If you look at the number 1,000,000, it ends in a 0. So you know that you can divide that by 5. And if you look at the number 742, this ends in a 2. So this number is not divisible by 5. To check to see if you can divide a number by 6, it has to be divisible by 2 and 3. So if you're looking at the number 630, you check your rule for 2. Is it an even number? It ends in a 0. Yes, so it is divisible by 2. Is it divisible by 3? Well, to check to see if a number is divisible by 3, you add up your numbers. 6 plus 3 plus 0 is 9. 9 is divisible by 3. So this number is divisible by 2 and 3, which means that it is also divisible by 6. If you check the number 1,200, let's do 12,370, we would run the rules and check to see if it's divisible by 2. It ends in a 0, so it is divisible by 2. Then let's check to see if you can divide it by 3. We have 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 is 6, plus 7 is 13, plus 0 is 13. That is not divisible by 3. So since it's not divisible by both 2 and 3, this is not divisible by 6. 2 left. To see if the number is divisible by 9, it is almost the same as our test to see if a number is divisible by 3. The sum of the digits must be divisible by 9. So here is an example. If you have 96,450, the sum of the digits, so all you do is add up those digits. 9 plus 6 is 15, plus 4 is 9 plus 6 is 15, plus 4 is 19, plus 5 is 24, plus 0 is 24. Can you take 24 divided by 9 evenly? No, you cannot. So this number is not divisible by 9. The number 819, check the rule again. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 9 is 18. 18 you can divide by 9. So yes, this number you can divide by 9. And last but not least, probably the easiest one, if a number is divisible by 10, it simply ends in 0. So the number 3,460,000 ends in a 0. You can divide that by 10. If you had the number 786,555, it does not end in a 0, so this number is not divisible by 10. Please refer back to this video anytime that you need a refresher for your divisibility rules. It will make your life much easier, especially coming up with simplifying fractions and finding common denominators. Thank you, and have a good day. All right. I should have done this before I told you to have a good day, but let me show you how this actually works. What your problems are going to look like, you are going to be given a number, and then you're going to have to check for divisibility. So for example, if we are looking at the number 150, you're going to have to list the numbers that it is divisible by. So I'm just going to list them, and we're just going to check them one by one and see if our number is divisible by these. All right, so for the number 150, the rule for 2 is to check if the number is even. This number ends in a 0, so this is divisible by 2. For the number 3, remember that you add up your digits. So 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 0 is 6. 6 is divisible by 3, so this entire number is divisible by 3. For the number 4, you check the last 2 digits, which is 50. 50 is not divisible by 4, so the number 150 is not divisible by 4. For the number 5, you check to see if it ends in a 5 or a 0. It does, so this number is divisible by 5. For the number 6, you check to see if it's divisible by 2 and 3, and we already checked those. They were, so this number is divisible by 6. For the number 9, remember, all you do is add up your digits, which we've already done. We got 6. 6 is not divisible by 9, so this number is not divisible by 9. And then for the number 0, you simply check to see if it ends in a 0, which it does. So this number is divisible by 2, 3, 5, 6, and 0. And if you wanted to, you could go through and check and make sure. I'm going to show you a couple of them just to prove it to you. But if you would take 150 and divide it by 2, 2 can't go into 1, but it can go into 15 7 times. 7 times 2 is 14. Subtract, bring down your 1. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So 150 divided by 2 is 75. Let's check another one. Let's check the number. Let's do 6. Let's do 150 divided by 6. 6 can't go into 1. It can go into 15 2 times. 2 times 6 is 12. 5 minus 2 is 3. 1 minus 1 is nothing. Bring down my 0. 6 goes into 35 times. And that also goes in evenly. So I've just proved to you that 3 of these work. Let's do one more example. Let's say that I ask you to check the divisibility rules for the number 32,545. Okay, we are again going to check 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. So we check the number 2. All we need to check for is to see if a number is even. It ends in a 5. It is not even. So this number is not divisible by 2. To check for the number 3, you find the sum of the digits. So add these up. 3 plus 2 is 5. Plus 5 is 10. Plus 14, or plus 4 is 14. Plus 5 is 19. 19 is not divisible by 3. So this number is not divisible by 3. For the number 4, we check those last 2 digits, which create the number 45. 45 is not divisible by 4. Then we check 5. It ends in a 5, so this number is divisible by 5. Then we check the number 6. All we need to check and see if it was divisible by 2 and 3. It was not, so it's not divisible by 6. For the number 9, I've already done the hard part. I added up my digits, and I got 19. 19 is not divisible by 9. And then my rule for 10 is to check and see if it ends in a 0. It does not. So this number is only divisible by 5. And again, I am going to prove this to you so that you know that you can trust these divisibility rules. So 32,545 divided by 5. 5 can't go into 3, so we look at 32. It goes in 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. Subtract and get 2. Bring down my 5. 5 goes into 25 5 times. That is 0. Bring down my 4. 4 or 5 cannot go into 4. So I put my 0, and then I bring down my 5. 5 goes into 45 9 times with a remainder of 0. So that means that you can evenly divide 32,545 divided by 5. All right, that's what you're going to do for your assignment.